Hello and welcome back, everybody, to some more Dota 2 action. This is going to be the Summit 4 North American qualifiers. We're going to be taking a look at Game 2 here between Root and DC, which should be an absolutely fantabulous matchup. Once again, this is going to be the upper bracket, so Root and Digital Chaos have both been able to make their way on through here. If we take a quick little look on through who they've had to chase out of the this bracket as well, Root Gaming ended up bumping on down Complexity to the lower bracket as well as Cloud9. Meanwhile, Digital Chaos most recently taking down Unknown as well as High Council of Wizards and Priests. So, moving on into this one, the winner, if DC end up taking this one or Root end up taking the next two, will go on to the best of 5 finals, which will take place this Friday. The losers will have to play off tomorrow against the winners from Complexity and Cloud9, which is just going to be played in a couple of hours. And that the sort of next lower bracket matchup that I mentioned tomorrow, that's 26 hours from right now. In case you guys are curious, mark it on your schedule. Make sure that you're going to be there for that one because it should be a very, very exciting series. So, bans as they stand, it's going to be a Tusk followed up by the Shadow Fiend Lich and the Doom, not wanting to give that away considering at this point in time Root do have first pick. They took away the Tusk from the last matchup. They end up taking back the Slardar for Root. They felt like this hero was able to... I felt like the Slardar wasn't quite able to get as much as he needed there in the last game. He didn't get his initiation online quite quick enough just because of how aggressive Digital Chaos was being in the draft, I feel like, and the fact that they sort of aggressively dual laned with the spec and then left Slardar pretty much to his own devices to a large extent meant that his Blink Dagger didn't come online quickly enough, and the Ember, while he did get some amount of farm, he wasn't able to fight early, just based upon the way that their team was synergizing. They couldn't keep the lanes pushed out long enough, I think was one of the big problems. Like, Winter Wyvern needed to be able to get more levels so that way she could hold one of those other towers a little bit more effectively, and there's just too much that was being thrown at them too early. This time around, instead, we're going to be seeing, well, kind of a similar type of dynamic. Queen of Pain going to be picked up this time. Was banned in the last series. This is also going to leave the option open for Undying to get picked up. With Tusks no longer in the draft, there isn't that absolutely horrendous and terrifying dual offlane combo that you can run with those two heroes, but still Undying on his own is incredibly powerful. I feel like 6.84 just was a revelation, this hero. I think that we did see a couple of teams pick Undying in 6.83, but it really was not very often. And then with the whole meta switch that ended up occurring, 6.84 turning back around, this hero started to go absolutely crazy. He also got a couple of buffs, and just recently, I honestly think that the Aghanim Scepter changed to Undying as a buff. It gives him that late game ability to be effective, obviously getting the 10 strength as opposed to getting the increase to his slow and amp damage coming out from the Flesh Golem, which is what used to happen with his Aghanim Scepter. At the very least, it's a more obvious change. It's a more obvious impact that you feel from it. And that's sort of the whole case with Flesh Golem as a spell, is that it's this spell that gives you an incredible ability to burst people on down, but it's mainly by virtue of just this amp damage that ends up continuing to come on out. Wind Ranger is also going to be picked up by Root Gaming. This is going to give them the ability to push on out those lanes. It's also going to give them a very strong laning hero in the mid lane against the Queen of Pain. Not necessarily... The lane is a bit of a wash, to be frank. I think that as a Wind Ranger, you still can be a little bit vulnerable to the Blink, Scream, as well as the Dagger, but you're never really going to be killed off unless you see a very strange build from the Queen of Pain. Until she gets 6 is essentially the thing. And by that time, as a Wind Ranger, you can kind of keep the pressure on top of the Queen of Pain by consistently pushing out the lane. You just need to be cognizant of where she is at all times. That's the biggest thing. And as long as both teams are aware of where the other team is, maybe you end up placing on down a lane ward for that Wind Ranger at the early stages, you're going to be fine in that lane. Which is pretty much the best that you can hope against a hero that's just as strong of a lane dominator as the Queen of Pain. Bane also going to be banned, a hero that was able to... Root don't want to face off against it, I guess, is the key thing. They picked it in the last game, and while it did make a couple of big plays, it wasn't as effective as maybe you would have wanted. In the early game with the spec, it was pretty strong. They were able to get a couple of key kills up in that top lane, but it felt a little bit lackluster. Darkseer also going to be banned. I think this makes a lot of sense. Digital Chaos felt very strong in their laning presence before, and this allowed them to. They also felt confident going forward because there wasn't that big wombo combo that could tear them apart if they did end up all grouping together. If you think about the way that Darkseer interacts with these heroes, he's a hero that can completely and totally change the dynamic of a team fight just with that vacuum wall combo, as well as being able to have any type of follow up with that. So when you leave open that hero in the midst of a draft, there's always the chance that what could be a strong lead built up in the early game ends up dwindling away in one big team fight. The Winter Wyvern is also going to be banned out, as is the Huskar. Again, Digital Chaos, I think, in this game feel very comfortable with where they're at and want to just try and continue to apply the pressure and don't want to have to formulate their draft to function around this hero that throws wrenches in their plans. Last time it was also the Broodmother that was banned out, and haven't seen that banned quite yet. So Root, if they wanted to, could still go for it. I wouldn't be surprised to see a last ban or a last pick by it, just because there's still a lot of heroes that can deal with it pretty effectively. Probably a little bit more surprised if if Digital Chaos ended up taking it. If Root ended up taking it, again with the Queen of Pain already picked up, that hero is so flexible in terms of where she can go that you still are going to end up having to maybe go up against the Brood with the Queen of Pain, which I think is a decent matchup. Obviously, you can go for the like incapacitating bite heavy build, and then you're no longer going to be in a situation where you have to worry as much about feeding a ton of gold away with those spiderlings. Rubik, another pretty strong laning hero by DC. He doesn't have a ton of. I mean, Slardar actually has pretty much all great spells to steal. Now that I'm looking at it, Sprint is great, 44% movement speed at the max level, as well as Crush, one of the best stuns in the game. Honestly, if you get the ability to crush with the instant cast there as well, I mean, the cast point on it is pretty small, but the instant is really great on it. So you think about this, it is a 2-second slow after the fact, but 2.5-second stun duration on an 8-second cooldown. So good. Silencer is also going to be picked up. Kind of an interesting pocket pick there. With all of the big team fight potential here, you're going to need to have something to sort of be that combo breaker in the midst of everything else going on.
10 seconds
And in response, we do see the TA. So it does look like this is going to be a Queen of Pain in one of the side lanes. I'm not sure yet where I necessarily like her more. I think it can be Queen of Pain Undying off if they wanted to do that, but it certainly doesn't have to be either. If they wanted to, they could go super hyper aggressive with it. I actually kind of like that because with the Silencer pick, this is going to be a hero with very little escape, and they can maybe punish that. Obviously, with Last Word as well as Curse, he can be a pain to deal with, but oh man, I don't know actually now. I'm not sure about Root's draft. This looks a little bit scary to me. Like they're going to have a lot of vision around the map already by the TA traps being placed everywhere. I think that they're in a good position to win a lot of their lanes. With a Slark who's a little bit fragile in the early stages, they're really going to need to bulk something up with this last pick here. And I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the answer is at this point. The Slark Silencer combo. I guess the flip side of that is that you've got Wind Ranger and Slardar, who are both very strong lane dominating heroes. Slardar less so than the Wind Ranger, of course. And now that it's going to be Wind Ranger against TA, the Psyblades are going to be on point, hopefully. And that's really going to be one of the determining factors, is how effective the TA is going to be at continuing to take those out. So they do end up banning out the Brood as well as the Dazzle. Digital Chaos now, if they wanted to, they could still go a little bit more aggressive route. They could take something like a Spear Breaker here. That would be pretty devastating. Dare say that would be disastrous for Root if they ended up taking that, maybe. It all depends, again, back on play. Because, like, you can say all these things, again, if you want to. That would mean a Queen of Pain solo in the safe lane with, like, the Undying, Rubik, Spirit Breaker, Tri-Lane. I think they can probably go duels here, though, and they're going to be comfortable with that and just sort of rely upon themselves being able to sort of outlane their opponents.
10 seconds remaining.
But what is it that they're going to want to pick up? The flexible drafts. 4 seconds left. They go back for the Sven. All right. Well,
Radiant
that
team
sort of answers a good amount of our questions. I think that it's probably going to be Queen of Pain Undying in the off lane with a Rubik Sven dual safe lane. Although, again, depending upon which way they wanted to face it, they could switch it up and put Queen of Pain safe with Undying if they think they're going to go up against the Slardar. And then you end up with, I think, a little bit of an easier matchup Rubik Sven against Silencer Slark. Maybe with a +1 in the top lane now for
10
Root.
seconds remaining.
The Dazzle would have been a really safe pick for them.
5 seconds remaining.
Huh. So the question that I have is, are DC going to try and go for a little bit more of the longer Skyle game, or are they going to try and just nail it out quickly, maybe get an early Blink Dagger on the Sven, since they're already going to be having a couple of these heroes that have the Blink Dagger, or at least the Blink mechanic. Queen of Pain as well as Sven, if they jump on in there, throw on down a Stormhammer, and then just tear people apart without even having to commit the Queen of Pain ulti, honestly. If they wanted to go that route with it, they certainly could. Maybe seen a lot of points again in Warcry as opposed to Cleave. Like last game, he ended up going for a much more Cleave-based build where he was able to kind of just farm away like mad. There's, I think, I want to say like a 5 or a 6 stack on the Ancients on that dire side. It was just devastating how much gold he was able to get. And they take a Lion last. Strong control. Good for being able... They needed that type of stun damage as well as a good amount of burst here. Sven is definitely going to need to go for a BKB. If he wants to go for that early aggression, he's going to have to go like Blink BKB. Although I don't think that you necessarily want to go BKB completely first. I think that if you go Blink first and then into BKB, you can do it. But he could just opt again to go just straight for the farming build. It worked last time. And I like their late game, I think, a little bit better than I like Root's. Global Silence is always going to be somewhat disastrous to face against, but I don't know. Time will tell. That is for sure. So we'll switch on over into the in-game overlay because I know you guys love it oh so much. And we're going to get ourselves started right here. Again, I'm going to respect all of these players' ability to say whatever name they want. And we're going to have Mr. Drizzy Drake on the Slardar. Slark is going to be played by Will EZ. We've got Derp Derp on the Silencer. And Ryo Kurokiba is going to be playing the Wind Ranger. Oh, goodness gracious. This is going to be a bit of a problem. I will say also that yesterday I had tremendous amount of trouble pronouncing Slark versus Slardar continuously. And hopefully I don't mix those two up in this game, but... if it does, you know what? You guys are going to be fine. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a wonderful game, guys. I am so excited. TC going to be played by Sven for DC. TC DC going to be played by Mr. S. Sven. Aoi is going to be playing the Undying today. We have YS on the Templar Assassin. Beery's going to be playing on the Rubik. And we've got Bulba on the Queen of Pain with some funky little horns. That is an interesting set indeed. Well, as I click on over on this... Still waiting for the Slark to get back on into this game. Taking that point in Stormhammer. No real surprise there. It does look like they're going to opt to maybe smoke on in yet again. Cool. Yeah, basically Sand King, definitely. Don't see a smoke as of yet. But they do have... Oh, that's actually not a hero. That's definitely an effigy. It looked real though, right guys? Nova. Okay. Down in the bottom lane, Lion has already placed on out this Observer Ward, which is going to get him all good and comfortable. Observer Ward on the Slardar as well, so they're going to keep a couple of them. What else do we have? Null Tally on the Wind Ranger, hoping to get a couple of shared tangos, hopefully. Lily Z with the TP as well. Interesting that he ended up going for an early TP. Huh. Did that get pulled to him by somebody, I guess? Did Derp Derp give him a TP? I guess that what they're worried about is they're going to go up against a lane that's aggressive, and they want to make sure that the Slark is going to be able to find the lane that he wants. And so they're going to roam him around. This is an interesting point, and something that we've seen more often with the recent change to TPs. Recent, it was like a month and a half ago almost now. uh, getting reduced down to 75 gold. You've been seen in the early stages, finding the lanes is more important than necessarily that 100 gold that we ended up seeing, back in 6.84, or even before that was 6.82, I think it was, where it was 130 still. Um, it's something where I want to see if any of these other heroes here have TPs. Probably what we're going to end up seeing is it's going to be Aoi roaming around and going back and forth as the Undying to try and make sure that he's in the right lane for them. Although, again, it all depends on what they want to go for. Oh, pause action. We love you so much. I'm just going to take a quick little sip of coffee here. It's currently, what time is it? Can't even see. It's currently 3:30 in the afternoon. Right now in rainy Oregon, but I'm still going to be drinking some coffee. Make sure that everything is great for the cast. Again, Slark, not a whole lot more behind that TP. Oh, look at Mr. Mushroom, man. He is so happy. This is the best courier ever. Look at this guy. Oh, my goodness. What does he have on his shoulder? Does he have, like, oh, that is not that courier. He is not happy. What does he have on his shoulder? He has a little bag on his shoulder. Oh, look at the little mushroom guy. That is awesome. Best courier award. Going to Root. What's the other courier here? Look at this. What is this guy? What is he even? He's got like little pincers. He does not have opposable thumbs. He's not a mushroom. Little rock golem. That is not cool at all. Well, nonetheless, oh god, there's an update. Oh no, they're going to be playing a different brand of Dota. 6.86 is out. Well, it's all fine. Don't even worry about it. Oh god, no. We're all going to have to download the update. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to switch it on over into the splash screen. I'm going to play some music for you guys. Don't need to bore you with my voice, and we're just going to be playing a little bit of music in the meantime. See you guys in a few. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. The game actually started. So sorry about that one. We're good. We're great. We're wonderful. No patch was necessary, and the game's going to get back going in just a second here. Let me make sure that everything is all wonderful and taken care of. Oh, just like that. We're going. Oh, no. Why? Oh, God. We lost. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, me, oh, my. All right. It's all good. Don't worry. It's all good. They did, I think, spot them out with this ward, though. That's actually something interesting. Let's take a look at that. Vision time. Peanut butter vision time. They do end up spotting them. Yeah, that's a spot. They know what's up here. Well, we're back on into it. Aoi has been able to rejoin the game. It is fine. Everything is fine. Dota 2 is going to be played. I'm sure this isn't going to mean anything. So going back again. All right. TC and YS. Buryu. Everybody's happy. Everybody's good. Everybody is lovely. They do end up buying a smoke now. I wonder what we're going to see. Really nice D ward here as well. They ended up placing the observer ward on this side this time because they knew that last time the observer ward placed right here since they D warded it. They're also going to get a nice little solid couple of wards on this one, so it's going to take at least 2 sentry wards to D ward here. So no smoke used this time means that they're not going to end up wasting it, since that's what ended up happening in the previous game. They're also going to be very comfortable trading off the runes here. Waiting to see pretty soon what these lanes are going to be looking like. Does look like Bulba is going to push on up towards the top lane. Meanwhile, Aoi going to block for his TA in the mid lane. Dire side TA, people talk about it a lot. There's a reason for it. This hero is going to be able to stack on up these ancients like nobody's business. And I think that's part of the other reason that you see the whole team roam on down to this bottom lane here. They want to make sure that they don't end up getting that blocked off by Root, which could be devastating. Like, that's one of the best ways that this hero has to sort of accelerate a lead into the sort of later stages. All right, mid lane. Got the Wind Ranger here. Going to be harassed a little bit by Aoi. Looks like he's going to be comfortable at least trying to secure. This is something that we see out of him on occasion. What they'll end up doing is roaming him on either with this Undying, or sometimes you'll see it with an Ogre Magi as well. He just comes on into the mid lane, hits away. 3 armor on this hero currently, as well as the ability to just decay. 1 stack currently on the Wind Ranger, so every right click matters that much more. Slark up against the Queen of Pain. Ooh, bottom lane? Are we going to see something here? They lay down the stun on top of Willie Z. It's going to be so deadly in all of these lanes. This lane, without anybody in it, there shouldn't be a kill unless somebody gets pretty massively outplayed. Top lane, Bulba should be okay. It's going to be dangerous if, last word ends up happening at random times. Ooh, nice D-ward across the board here. They're going to be able to block off this pull, though, after they get 1 range creep. But not really completely and totally worth it, I don't think. Ooh, right clicks. Willie Z needs to be careful right now. Oh, yep, okay. Yep, that's a thing. I think that they let him go here. Yeah. It's all good. This is, yeah. Sorry, am I dead? Oh, that's good. Well, time will tell what ends up happening here. I think that this is going to be where a interesting moment happens in this game. We'll see what happens here. I don't really want to say anything because, depending upon what the outcome of these next couple of seconds are going to be, there might be a little bit of flame coming pretty shortly. I think that they let him go here, though. You gotta let him go, right? It's a deciding match, but all right, they're just going to level a little bit of harassment. That's what you get for not upgrading your internet. Get out of here, Slark. They're going to apply a little bit more harassment and just mess with him. So kind of a nice little middle ground there, not killing him off, but, making him pay a little bit. Pretty solid. Biryu, no mercy at all. So Slark now having to play a little bit more defensively. He had to use that salve as well, so he can't trade hits as effectively. Are you going to try and block on off this camp, I guess? There was already a couple more creeps in there, but nonetheless, still going to be fine. I was looking at that, I was like, why is Slark just hitting creeps and taking harassment? Makes a lot more sense in the context of a DC. Alright, there's Warcry. Looks like they want to pressure this now. Sand King taking a lot of damage. 1 right click, 2 right click. That might be enough with the Fade Bolt as well. There's the first kill. That does get a kill on top of Slark, though. On top of the Rubik, I should say. Willie Z now getting chased on through the forest. Aoi 2000 is here off to the side. They're going to be able to lay down a decay stack. The TPs are coming on in yet again, though. They're going to be able to lay on down the Earth Spike. This could be a problem. The TP on in as well from Drake. Oh, just able to not get off the stun. Solid stun by TC, keeping himself alive. I don't think that the sprint is going to allow him to get back into range. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, you actually see Yawar take on down the Wind Ranger. Without a Meld Strike, I don't think that that should happen. Even with a Meld Strike, honestly. But nonetheless, these things happen. They end up getting a kill. Okay. Another little thing. Oh, look at the plays, the stun. Oh god, Dota 2. Ugh. All right. I'm going to talk about that play real quick, though. Not being in range to stun out the lion. Instead, they stun the creep, get the AoE stun on top of the lion, follow it up with the Biryu lift. This should end up being another kill here, I believe. So both teams having a little bit of trouble with DC currently. I'm not sure DC with disconnecting currently. I'm not sure exactly what it's all about, but nonetheless, we're going to continue under the assumption that everybody is playing perfectly and exactly how this one. And you got to imagine that if you're playing in these types of games, it does affect you a little bit, which is unfortunate. But you know, it's sort of name of the game a little bit. This is going to end up being a kill. Nicely done there. He's able to get off the Hex on top of TC. Undying pausing the game. Oh, man. Oh. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. The other thing that's very frustrating about this right now is that there is no ability to play from replay either in Reborn. I believe that that's still a problem, that they're not going to be able to start it back up from replay. And considering that this has gone relatively well so far for DC, I mean, you take a look at net worth of it, there's not really any other way to say it except that DC is off to a good start right now. 1,500 experience as well, 1,000. And if this game does need to be remade because of these types of issues, it's going to be a little bit unfortunate for them. Just being honest about it, it's sort of a little bit unfortunate there. Let's take a look at last hits. Again, the TA able to get a solo kill on the Wind Ranger in lane, currently sitting at 17-5 versus the 10-1. Sven is 13-4. Queen of Pain is 13-3. I have a feeling that Root isn't just gonna say, yeah, let's just GG it out, it's fine. But nonetheless, it does make a little bit of issues come up. Sven still hasn't burned through a lot of his regen, has another Tango as well as a Salve, is bringing himself out of Clarity. Also with the boots, he's in a very, very advantageous position. Aoi Mango as well as a Salve. We've got a Salve and a Tango on the Rubik. They have so much regen. They can sustain in this lane forever. Oh god, and now Willie Z is going to be in trouble. I think they can save the Tombstone as well to break through the trees here. I don't think he's able to get out of this one. They drop down the Tombstone. Oh, just out of range. No, they find him. Yeah, he's going to end up going down now. Really unfortunate there. No more pounce, no more nothing. He is going to end up going down. Sven gets that kill. He's going to pop on through the trees, clear a path, and then go back on over to last hitting creeps. Huge advantage right now for DC. Taking a look at net worth, it is 2,000 roughly for each of the cores in the off lane as well as the mid lane for DC. And they've looked really good. Again, you are being able to dodge on out these power shots while simultaneously getting harassment in on the Wind Ranger. That solo kill definitely coming back to bite him a little bit. The Lion is going to rotate on over now and try and secure this mid lane a little bit more for the Wind Ranger. Like, they're kind of leaving Slark to his own devices now, but with no level 6, he honestly is probably almost dead right now. They can dive him consistently, I feel like, particularly when you end up being able to cut this creep wave off to the side. You know, even just the 1 point in cleave right now. Willie Z is in so much trouble. They need to be able to be ready to TP on over. Maybe they're going to try and apply some pressure elsewhere. Bulba does end up taking a damage from the last word. Waiwar trying to get a little bit frisky now with the Wind Ranger. Back and forth we go. They're trying to make a little bit of a kill down here on Willie Z as well. He looks like he might fall. The Wind Ranger is going to be able to get out of there safely, and the Slark ends up going down. Sorry, trying to keep track of both of the fights that were happening. The Slark falls, the Wind Ranger survives, Bulba up top is going to get punched a couple of times, but I think he lives here. Didn't actually blink into the trees, is going to try and just bottle up through this. Another stun, I'm not sure about that, although he probably would have been dead either way. At that point, he didn't have a TP and only one bottle charge. He was in a lot of trouble regardless. So 2-5. Fight recap again, 600 gold swing after the kill on top of the off-lane Queen of Pain, or rather safe lane solo Queen of Pain. 2k net worth lead, 1,500 experience. Tread's now finished on the Sven. You are just sitting comfortably with the boots as well as the Wraith Band. And it looks like they're going to try and keep stacking on up this Ancient stack for him. Currently 2 there, might be going for a 3rd. None on the Radiant side. Do we have any other stacks anywhere? There's not really a ton of heroes that super benefit from stacks. I mean, Slark can kind of take them in the mid game a little bit, but he really needs, you know, level 6 first of all, and then also several points in that Dark Pack to make sure that that, you know, magical damage that's coming out is pretty significant, and treads also. So he's going to be a little while. Sven's going to be able to take them significantly earlier. Honestly, right now, if they find the stack, Sven can go take it. I think that was Rubik stacking it for him. So not only taking advantage of their own jungle, but taking advantage of the enemy jungle. 3-man rotation on it, the mid lane. Aoi is going to end up finding them on out here. Can drop the tombstone if he wants. Level 2. Doesn't quite hit off that. Yeah, he's going to end up falling. Well done. Windranger ends up picking up that kill. Like, he could have decayed there, but I don't think it makes a difference. And unfortunately, I think they were really looking for Yawar in that fight with that smoke. But he ends up surviving. Does have level 7 now. Rotation on over to try and find Bulba. He has Scream. Oh, he's going to blink on back now. Gets stunned up. Oh, that long duration stun is silenced now as well. Ended up being able to wait out the duration for that last word. So important there. You take a look at what that duration is. You have 4 seconds. If you don't cast your blink right away, you're going to get stunned on up by Slither and Crush, which is 2.2 seconds. Really, really effective gank. You cast the last word. Bulba ends up sitting around for a couple more right clicks on the creep wave. Oh, Beery's going to end up falling here. Does end up getting stunned on the backside. All of a sudden, DC are looking like they're in a little bit of trouble now. Not going to be able to follow it up with anything, though, although TA does place one of those traps down. The Queen of Pain now with level 6 would love to be able to try and make something happen, but it's not quite looking like that's going to be able to happen completely and totally. Oh, God, running on into each other in the jungle. It's a little bit awkward. As I mentioned, level 6 on the Sven. He does have God Strength now. Slark just trying to soak on up level 6, which he has been able to do. So now he can regen pretty consistently. Although with no treads, he's still a very, very fragile little fish. It looks like that's what he's going to be building towards next. You are. They do end up spotting him out. This nice little observer ward here by Root. Keeping eyes on everything. Bulba pushes on out this top lane. Oh, power shot, trying to steal a couple of those creeps. Looks like the Slardar is going to be able to take at least a few of them. A couple of the big creeps, actually. That's unfortunate. Nice little trick there between the mid laner and the off laner. The dual off laner. So net worth again. It's only 1,500 gold lead. DC is 1,000 experience ahead. The TP out as well, going to make sure that Sven gets out all of those stacks before he ends up leaving the enemy jungle. And now they're placing wards to try and keep eyes on everything. They do place the sentry ward, not going to be able to deward this one that's up on the high ground, so they still have vision of everything that's going on. Another ward spot that we've occasionally seen has been right up here on this cliff, which is pretty sneaky. And it gives you good vision with very little possibility of being dewarded. Treads finished on the Templar Assassin. Bulba, another one. Oh, he's got to be scared right now. This is not one of those moments. Where's the Slardar on the map, actually? He wasn't showing for a little bit, so you end up coming around behind him again. That would have been really, really unfortunate. Isn't going to happen this time. 4,400 net worth on the Sven, as well as the Templar Assassin. Everything looking all completely and totally normal right now. They're still waiting to finish off the stack and maybe build into the Desolator. That's definitely the build that we've been seeing more often than not for TAs nowadays. Oh, the jump on in. They're going to be able to catch 3 with the Earth Spike. I don't know if it's going to end up mattering, though. The TP away does end up getting lifted and killed. Sven gets that one. Lion drops, and now they're going to be pushing on over towards this tier 1 in the mid. They are looking good and strong right now. DC finding what they need. Although it's worth noting, Root have been able to catch back up. I mean, they've been sort of abandoning top lane a little bit, although they are now back over there. The big thing is now Digital Chaos are trying to actually group together and take objectives. They've got so much armor on this Sven. Actually, it's only 1 level in Warcry, so level 4 or 5 armor in Warcry. You know, they've got 3 levels in the Tombstone. They've got all of TA's stuff. Rubik is about to hit 6 as well. Sonic Wave is up. It's still not committed on any of these. And it looks like they're actually going to be going straight for Roche. They dropped the Tombstone as well. Oh god, if one of the zombies spawned over there, that'd be like really awkward. Not going to happen. And there aren't any zombies spawning over here either, so they place it pretty well. Not going to mess up the opportunity to stack on up, but this is actually key. Do they know that this is going on? Oh, they're going to smoke on in. This could be disastrous if they actually find them. I don't know if they can take this fight. They're going to sprint on in. There's the power shot through. Global silence comes down. Biryu's going to end up falling. Now they end up getting the Aegis up on the TA. I think that they can turn this. Nice Ur spike, but the stun from the Sven is going to end up connecting. Tombstone is down. The zombies are out. I think that this might be a problem. Willie Z getting chased on down. The Sonic Wave connects. Is he going to be able to get out of here? Getting the extra movement speed? No, not quite. He gets slowed on down by the TA. Bulba is here. They're ready to go. Can they actually find him and kill him, though? Not actually able to get him. He's going to be able to TP out Willie Z, you god. Fight recap. We're taking a look at it. Relatively even. They lose the Lion for the Rubik. So the Global Silence committed there was able to take on down the Rubik, and then they weren't able to get any follow-up kills. So I still think that DC come out on top because of that Aegis, and now they're going to be able to push with impunity, with like just completely and totally free.
Middle tower is under attack.
I can't believe that Willie Z was able to get out of there. That was crazy. God, if the Queen of Pain had just moved forward a little bit further and screamed instead of waiting, like they saw the scream travel back. Man, that was close. All right, but tier 2 tower gone. Another stack up on these ancients. Digital Chaos have been so on point with those. And 4 points in cleave. This is what we saw last time. Sven maxing that out, and now is just going to be able to tear apart that stack with his God Strength up. Although, oh god, please don't say it's DC'd again. I guess if it worked last time, make it work again. Oh, Biryu. Nobody likes to see this stuff. All right, 1, 2, 3, couple of stacks. There's the ulti coming on out. Does drop down the ward at the end, but actually, this might reveal exactly where it is, because now Willie Z knows that they can see him. I guess he was invis before. Oh god, they're going to be able to do it. He doesn't have an ulti right now. This actually would be huge. Oh, no Sonic Wave. Okay, never mind. I was really confused there for a second. So TA takes on out that big stack that we were talking about earlier. This is going to finish off her Deso. They're actually going to leave the stack for her as opposed to the Sven. This is one downside of this combo now, is that in the last game, they left all of the farm for the Sven. Now they're going to have to switch off between him and the TA. Oh, God, Mr. Drizzy Drake, you don't want to end up getting caught out there. That would be disastrous. Aegis on the TA. Queen of Pain does have Sonic Wave back up again. Hasn't been able to get as much farm as you normally see on this hero, but I think for a solo lane, she's doing a good job. Net worth after Roshan as well as the big stack. 4K experience, 1,500 as well. And Sven just continuing to farm out the enemy jungle. They can't go on like this. They need to be able to take a fight, but they also don't have the instruments with which to take a fight. Maybe with the Blink Dagger on the Slardar, they're going to be able to. They're going to have the initiation, but it sort of feels like it did last game, where obviously Slurk can come online faster than a Spectre can. But you haven't been able to see him get nearly the amount of space and farm that they got in the last game. Because last time, it was up against... Who's it up against? I can't remember. It was the top lane with the Bane against the solo lane, essentially. So, say what you will about it. It's still a difficult proposition for them to do any of this stuff. Helm of the Dominator, Sven, as well as into Assange and Yasha now. Hasn't picked up the Yasha quite yet. And if he wanted to, he could, depending on how this next fight goes, like, he could go straight on into a BKB after it. Now he's going to go for the Sanj. That makes more sense. Like, he could have transitioned over into getting the BKB afterwards, but
Radiant's top tower is under
I mean,
attack.
if you can get away with it, it's probably more worth it to go for the, if you can get away with it, it's more worth it to have that extra life and damage coming out from the Sven. Also the extra movement speed. All those things are good for this hero, who obviously relies so heavily on the right clicks. Is level 11 now, 2 points in God Strength. Bulba has been able to only get level 8, so doesn't quite have a level 2 ulti. But still, they're in such a commanding position right now. They're getting ready to defend this tier 1, actually. I don't know if they can get there in time. Wind Ranger doesn't have any damage, though. Had to go for Maelstrom first.
Dire's structures
Looks like
are
Rubik is getting in position. If they start TPing right now, all right, they're going to go for the TPs on in. Going to be able to catch onto the Wind Ranger. Global Silence committed now. They are going to be able to TP out of here. Slardar trying to jump back in, but some heroes jumping in, some heroes leaving. A little bit of miscommunication. Actually looks like Drake's going to be able to get out of here in time. Yes. So apparently no miscommunication. They were fine. Down here in the jungle,
Middle tower is under attack.
Slark just gonna run away. You don't want to end up getting stunned here, buddy. 1800 at gold, 1900 now on him. Already has treads Aquila. Sven getting that Sanjin Yasha brought on out to him. Are you trying to build on into his Tranquils? Isn't going to have it for a little while. And the Aegis just now reclaimed. Root have been doing a great job of keeping their distance and not committing to fights that they know they're not going to win. If they end up losing this one, again, they have to go down and face off against another team tomorrow, either Complexity or Cloud9, to move forward into this tournament. And then they would have to face off against DC again in a best of 5. It's going to take place on Friday. So DC looking to close this one out if they can. They get the nice stun on top of Uar. He's going to end up getting taken out, I believe. Slaughter not quite in range. They do get the slowdown, but I think he is going to fall in the end. Wind Ranger a little bit too much, too quickly, too much damage coming out. And they're able to burst on down the TA. Aoi trying to build on into this mechanism. This is something else they need to be careful of, though, is that if they build up all of these sort of survivability and items on this Undying, and by survivability I mean team, sort of sustainability in a fight is really what I should say there, or even just the amp damage coming out from the Flesh Golem. If they burst down the Undying, it's kind of all of their hope onto Aoi. Obviously Sven's going to be a strong backbone, as well as the Queen of Pain in terms of their damage, but if they take a team fight with the mechanism not being able to get popped off on the Undying, they've essentially got this big amount of net worth lead that's not being invested into a whole heck of a lot. The majority of their net worth advantage in the next couple of minutes is going to be by virtue of this mechanism that's coming out. And if Undying gets bursted before that ends up happening, all of a sudden that's not really worth it as much. All right, looks like they're going to go for the tier 1 tower. They do end up taking it. No TPs are going to be here in time. I don't think that TC can actually take this fight right now. Oh, with the rotations. Okay, no, they're going to TP out. That's the wise decision. They're out of there. Slark does pick up a Shadow Blade. Looks like Eul's Scepter is going to be the item for Bulba. No real extra item progression as of yet. Templar Assassin with the Deso as well as the Invis Rune. Whoever walks forward too far is just going to die straight up. Still stacking up the Ancients as well, worth noting. That one actually didn't stack because of a well-placed Observer Ward by Root. Roche still a little ways away before it has the possibility of respawning. And it looks like after going for the Maelstrom, Wind Ranger is going to be going next on into the Aghanim Scepter. Oh, he might have overstayed his welcome a little bit too long there. Global Silence coming out. That's actually huge for them. DC now can almost go high ground if they want to. Like, they've been playing this game, and actually the last game as well, incredibly carefully, so they probably won't. And instead they're going to try and see if they can, one, pick off the Slark over here, but two, wait for the next Roshan. I think they also ping this out realizing that their Ancients are blocked. Maybe going to be able to catch here. You are, again, separated from the herd. Not going to be able to find it. The Blink Daggers. All right, so you're getting a couple of these heroes now. Not the Silencer, obviously, but the Slardar. You've got the jump forward by the Slark that comes out, as well as the bonus movement speed that he has. And now the Blink Dagger on the Lion as well. All of these heroes are going to be in a position where they can chase really effectively. And depending upon how the team fight goes, they could end up getting taken out very, very quickly. Oh, stealing away. Power shot, why not? You want to power shot me? I'll power shot you. Queen of Pain going to tear you apart. There's the Eul's Scepter taking him on down. TC going to start to go ham. 1 right click, 2 right click, 3 right click, but the mechanism keeping him alive. Do have another power shot. That's going to be another huge Lion Finger coming out. And 2 heroes are dead. Wind Ranger with a double kill. Very quickly turning around this team fight. The mechanism from the Silencer coming in and playing a huge role. And now Aoi separated again. Looks like Drake might end up going down here. They end up killing off the Rubik with the Slark, continuing to drop the Tombstone. He mechs himself back up, but they burst down that Tombstone, get the bounty from it. And just like that, DC starting to fall behind. 2,700 net worth lead. And again, it was because they didn't end up having all of their heroes quite together. So the first little bit of shakiness shown in this series by DC. This might ensure them Roshan as well. Roche just now respawning. This could be devastating. I think that both teams realize that this is going on, though. This is a dire range creep. But the Slardar Illusion was the one that scouted it out. Ywar, the only person that could really solo Roshan. They're all going to be back up, so this is going to be a very important team fight here. Oh, God, and Ywar's just going to be moving right on into it. Does take out... Oh, I don't know about this. Well, so far, Root isn't responding as of yet. It looks like Slardar is trying to get in position. The Slark is still here. They do have sentry wards around. Do they have another one that Rubik can place on down? I don't know how that happens. Honestly, I feel like they should have responded to that one maybe. Maybe they were thinking they weren't quite going to be able to because, well, Global was up also. I don't know. Not sure about that one. Nonetheless, it's the situation that we're in. Digital Chaos end up taking it. These players, for both sides, obviously know this game a lot better than me and probably saw something there that they didn't quite like and weren't willing to go for it. The other thing is just how quickly Roche can fall, given their lineup. It's pretty scary. All right, there's the jump forward. Hex going to catch on to TC. Aoi is right behind him. They end up dropping on down the tombstone. Now going to try and TP away. Do they get the stun off in time? No, not going to be able to find it. They are going to chase yet again after the Wind Ranger here. Does have a TP. Oh, they should know where she's at. No, not going to be able to find her, though. A little bit unfortunate. So they're going to have to push on out the waves now. Wait for the next opportunity for them to take another team fight. They take on out this other Observer Ward here. Absolutely fantabulous. Boba, Yule's Scepter, as well as Treads. Being very effective with the itemization. Templar Assassin also now has her Blink Dagger and 2,300 gold on top of that. She is big. It's a big lady right there. Top lane getting pushed out by Willie Z. Root's doing everything that they can, trying to apply pressure across the map. Keep on getting more farm up on this Slark. Oh, this could be a problem, though. If they find out the Silencer or Stand King, he is going to drop so swiftly. Now Wind Ranger in the area as well. Can they find out anybody over here? Mid lane, yet again, they're chasing. The Wind Ranger did kill off the Queen of Pain. Looking for their chance to fight here. We did see another pickoff off to the side. Silencer ends up dropping on down the Undying, and just like that, two heroes are dead for DC. They thought they were the ones chasing, but separated apart. Now the Slark jumping back in, and he's going to be able to find Biryu. Ends up using his ulti. Can he stay alive here? That's the question. Oh, the power shot doesn't connect, but the Slardar kills him. Now TC dropping low again. He doesn't have any stuns coming out. Silenced off. But Ywar trying to go to work, has the Aegis, but is the last person that ends up getting focused there and doesn't even get focused. And all of a sudden, Root Gaming are starting to come back. 1,600 gold swing into their favor, 2,300 experience. And all of a sudden, the difference in net worth is back into their favor. What was looking like a huge lead at this point for Digital Chaos is starting to drop and dwindle away. 3,000 experience lead. They're going to be back up in just a second. Can they find any pickoffs here? Oh, not quite going to be able to do it. Did he cancel his TP? No, he might just have not wanted to go on into the middle of that. But nonetheless, Digital Chaos, what was once a very strong lead that they were holding, now you're starting to take a look at some of these items that people have online. The Mechanism up for Derp Derp on the Silencer. Shadowblade Yasha on the Slardar. As well as Sanjin Yasha now finished off. He can't necessarily man-fight a Sven completely and totally on his own, but given one or two other people, he can pick him off pretty quickly. As you saw there, the silence was so big, the fact that Sven couldn't turn back around and throw that out on top of the Slark. Slardar now, Blink Dagger, Force Staff. He's got all the initiation in the world. Back over here towards the rune spot again. Biryu might be in a little bit of trouble. Was able to get off the Invis rune before he gets picked off, and now they're finding the Wind Ranger. I'll take this on down, but I want to talk more about items in a second when we get a chance. All right, he's going to TP out, so let's talk more about items. Wind Ranger now Blink Dagger. That's 3 Blink Daggers onto Root. They're going to be able to chase consistently in these fights and take the ones that they want, maybe avoid the ones they don't. Silencer also has a Force Staff. So much mobility. The vision game, I will say, has not been quite as strong. You take a look at the vision that DC has right now. It's so impressive what they're able to see all across the map. They desperately need to be able to get a gem up on one of these heroes here and start to deny out the vision. Speaking of gems, let's see if we actually have any on the coming up soon. For DC, the Mechanism up on the Undying definitely helps. He's got the Rubik, really kind of the broke as a joke fella down here. Level 9. Queen of Pain, Yule's Scepter, doesn't quite have as much impact as you would hope out of this hero, although she was again in that solo lane that didn't go necessarily the best in the world. Now the TA forced to go on back for a BKB. So after taking out a couple more of these stacks here, Ywar is going to be able to get the BKB on up, start to be hitting a little bit harder. I think that This is really what they've needed a little bit earlier. Like, you think about in that last fight, if the Sven had his BKB instead of maybe the Blink Dagger, like I talked about the Blink Dagger being good in the beginning, in the drafting stage and being aggressive. But with the Helm of the Dominator, he kind of went for a little bit more farming. And then the Sanjin Yasha was a little bit more farming as well. And then the Blink Dagger afterward was to get on top of people. But by that point, there was already enough sustain with the mechanism coming out from the silencer. And I think that that was revealed in that last team fight, that he wasn't able to burst him down before they were able to toss on out those spells. Also, it's just a bad engagement for Digital Chaos. That was probably the biggest thing in that last team fight, was that it was a fight that they probably wouldn't have... They want to get that one back, basically. Several heroes roaming on through their own jungle. Maybe they find the Wind Ranger here. It's getting maybe a little bit greedy, sticking around for a little while. The wards would spot this out, but they are smoked up. She might feel confident in where she's at. Do they find her? She has a Blink Dagger. She's not going to get caught, I don't think. Oh, the stun! Oh, oh. Oh, where is it? Get the lift and get the Yule Scepter. Wind Ranger's going to end up falling here. Global Silence committed, but it's too late. Oh, wait, no, is it? Is he actually turning that back around? What am I talking about? Queen of Pain ends up getting killed there, and now it looks like they're finally going to be able to get out of here on the Wind Ranger. Is she actually going to be able to do this? Picks on up her crit 4, the whole team is chasing her, but you killed off the Queen of Pain at that point. The Global Silence meant that nobody was going to be able to stun her. Huge turnaround right there. Fight recap, 1,300 gold swing because they end up killing off the Wind Ranger, but still, that Queen of Pain going down. Goodness gracious me, oh my. What a very dead guy. Alright, let's see, net worth now. I can't believe, I was like, okay, she's dying. Nope, nope, that's definitely the Queen of Pain. TC now. Maxed out everything. He's level 16. Ready to party. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that. Where is that lion that he ended up getting killed? Just in the mid lane. BKB committed for that one. That's really just how quickly these kills can happen. You run into the TA in the wrong place and she is going to tear you apart. Meld Strike used on that one, and just 1, 2, 3 shot, I'm sure. Although it is a kill on a lion for the 10-second BKB. I still think it's worth it to find that kill. Nonetheless, a little bit unfortunate. But they want to wait. They have the BKB now up on the Sven. They have the BKB up on the Queen, or on the TA. It looks like we're going to be going on into the next item, probably an MKB for the Templar Assassin. Maybe a Queen of Pain going for Aghanims now as well. Oh, the rotation on into the jungle. Slark is going to start to try and find these pickoffs here. We do get the blink away. Not going to be able to find the Sven, but instead just going to clear on out the creep wave here. Wards again in the area. Digital Chaos. They have the one up here. They have the one over by the secret shop. Meanwhile, the wards, yeah, they ping it on out though. That's the thing that's so cool about Slark, is obviously being able to know when you have vision on you. So pretty solid there. 3-man rotation on up into the top lane. The Wind Ranger looking for a pickoff. Doesn't know about the other heroes behind the Sven. Is this going to be a kill here? They're waiting for their moment. Okay. Wind Ranger's still hanging out. This is a little bit greedy. Okay, they're going to TP on out the starter. They don't want to go for this one. That's probably the correct decision. As soon as they saw everybody coming in from behind, they get on out of there. Wind Ranger instead is just going to be trying to clear on out this creep wave, or maybe find a pickoff on Owie. Oh, God, just like that. This Wind Ranger is playing out of her mind. Oh, and the Queen of Pain, not going to be able to find her this time. The last time it didn't end up going so great. That is so demoralizing for Digital Chaos. The fact that you go on in there, try and clear out your jungle, and then just right from behind, you end up getting picked off. They're just getting sort of played from place to place. And now again, you're seeing the Slark push on out this creep wave. And he's going to be building into a Scotty. He's almost got it. Like, they're in such a good spot right now. Net worth lead very firmly in Root's favor. On both net worth as well as experience. 15k on the Sven. But it doesn't feel like that huge of a lead. You compare this to what the Slark is going to be running pretty soon. The other thing as well is that if he ends up building into a Silver Edge, he can take away the cleave that the Sven does. And all of a sudden, while the hero still does a ton of damage, it's not going to be as effective as it would be under other circumstances. I can't believe how much Root has been able to turn this one back around. It's just been an absolutely fabulous display of perseverance and waiting for the proper moments. And while the vision game is good, Slark, he's going to be able to see all of this. And now he knows where these wards are. Going to come on in. Oh, he might be overstaying his welcome a little bit here. If they can find that instant initiation, they need to get some type of catch on the Rubik here. He's coming back around the other side. Oh, God, this is scary. Can he get out of here? All right, the smoke is going to end up getting popped. Do they have any dust? No dust. No nothing. Okay, well, they're going for Roshan. So now all of a sudden they realize that Roche is probably going down, I would imagine. Slardar is going to try and jump on top of Aoi here, and I don't think that he's going to be able to get out of here. But it looks like they're actually just going to get another free Roche. I kind of was expecting to see some other contest, but Root is just looking for pickoffs. They don't want to commit to any big team fight here. And they're going to do their best to just pull apart the enemy team as much as possible. Guardian Greaves now finished off on Aoi. They want to try and teamfight if they can, but this top tier 2 tower is just going to fall. They don't have the catch that they need. You think about even if a Sven jumps on into the middle of all of them, the only person that's there to back him, well, I guess he's got the rest of his team to back him up. I was going to say there aren't another ton of other blinks, but there are. Got to be real here. If Rubik gets a blink, that's a key item. I think that that's definitely next for him. All right, Aghanim Scepter almost finished now. Oh, God. Again, gonna just blink on out of there. Oh, can they find her? Nope, not quite. All right, they knew that that's in there. This is the point where you start warding up this spot right here. This is the play every day of the week. Ward that on up. Start being able to find these heroes in these choke points. Because right now you're just getting ratted. And that ward spot, as well as the one right over here, these are the answers to ratting. We haven't seen as many people ward them in pro games as of yet because it does sort of not give you a whole lot of vision outside of that area. But I'm really wondering if we're going to start to see it more often. It seems like it's just such a strong vision tool, like particularly if you think about the way that supports have been playing more often. You've been seeing more of this where people want to cut the creep wave or people want to set up for a kill, and right now the Lion, I mean, this would just be a free kill if they were able to have the vision of him. I guess the flip side of that is that if people start warding it more often, then all of a sudden supports aren't going to go there as often. MKB finished on the Templar Assassin. The Rubik still not with a whole heck of a lot on him. Aoi. Greaves, we see on the Queen of Pain, Ewell Scepter still trying to build into that Aghanims. This is mainly going to be for keeping these creep waves pushed out. It's not so much about the ability to do a lot of damage in team fights at this point, because honestly, the Aghanim Scepter this late in the game, well, great, it does give you the extra bonus damage. It's only an extra 60 pure at level 2, and then an extra, what is that, 85 pure at level 3. It's so effective at the early stages because, that extra damage means a lot. Once you start getting the, extra HP on up on these heroes, it matters less and less. But being able to push out the creep waves, that's what's really important about it, I think. Slark level 19, Scotty finished, as well as Sanjin Yasha and a Shadow Blade, rather. We see on the Lion, Blink Dagger, Tranquils. Force Staff as well as Mechanism on the Silencer. Global Silence still back up. The little Crystallis on the Wind Ranger. Oh, Yawar getting frisky. I wonder if they know that he's here, though. They should know he's here. There's the blink away immediately. BKB committed. Okay. All right, the rest of the team's coming on in. This is where they want to try and push. All the other lanes are relatively pushed out. Mid is actually pushing towards their tier 3. But I still think that they can take this engagement now, and it looks like they're going to be looking for high ground. Jump forward, able to catch on a TC. Global Silence committed as well. He's going to end up falling all of a sudden just like that. It looks like DC might be in a ton of trouble. Aoi's going to end up falling if he's not careful. Oh, they burst on down the Lion. Nice Force Staff by the Silencer, keeping him alive a little bit longer. TA able to take him on out in the end, but Slark is starting to go ham. They're tearing him apart. Bulba is off to the side as well. He's going to get bursted down by the Slaughter. The Aegis has already been burned through. 4 heroes dead in a second after the Queen of Pain dies up top, and Yawar, the only one left alive, but they're tearing her apart as well. Huge kill. Full team wipe with only the Lion going down. Oh, lordy, lordy. Absolute disaster for DC. Oh, God. Huge gold swing. 7,000 experience. And around 4,000 to 4,500 gold as well. How was the team fight that they wanted? They had the Aegis, they had everything. They just got all split apart, and now they're going to be going on in for the racks. And what do you do against this buyback status? You don't have any except for on the Sven. He's going to be back up in 12 seconds, but the tier 3 tower is going to fall, and it looks like they're not going to be able to stage another defense of this. I don't think. They're pulling the creep wave on back, but this is going to be a barracks down at the very least. Daedalus finished off on the Wind Ranger as well now. There's the lift on top of the Slardar. The Tombstone's committed as well, but Biryu is going to end up falling. TC trying to deal out a lot of damage. He is actually tearing them apart, but never mind. The Wind Ranger in the back with the BKB, not even BKB, excuse me, just Wind Run going. Going to tear them apart. There's the Yule Scepter. Can they turn this back around? Nice Sonic Wave. Tearing apart that Wind Ranger who has destroyed the rest of her team. Still though, at what cost is the phrase that keeps on coming up in my head. 1,800 gold swing back into the favor of Digital Chaos. The key thing here, gold mattering so much less now, is that their barracks are dead and Willie Z back on the hunt again. 4,500 gold in the bank. Oh, there's the Blink Hex. Immediately finds Bulba, catches as well. No way to interrupt this one. Aoi can only look on in horror. He's a zombie, but he doesn't like what he sees as the little fishman starts to tear his friend apart. Another little jump. Nice pounce, going to connect. Guardian Greaves are not. Soul Rip not going to matter. A double kill. 30 stacks of Essence Shift. They do end up stealing pounce by Rubik, but what's he going to do? Oh, no. It's falling apart. 1,600 gold swing and another tier 3, I think. In terms of buyback status, again, only the Sven has it. He's back up again in 14 seconds. But what do you do against this? You don't have the control that you need right now. Rubik is just going to get torn apart. And again, all of these stacks of Essence Shift means that Slark is just tearing through your buildings, tearing through your heroes. Oh, God. I hesitate to look at that graph. Oh, man. I'm not exactly sure where this all falls in terms of blame, but it's just not quite the... Oh, God. Yawar's going to end up getting picked off here. Going to town. Global Sound's committed. TC does end up being after the fact, but he is going down as well. They can't fight him right now, honestly. This Slark is too powerful. Actually, they end up staying alive a little bit longer, but GG ends up getting called. Root take game 2 as Digital Chaos fall. We're going to be going to a game 3 in just a second. Stick around. It should be a good one. We'll be right back in a moment. We'll wait for the score screen to show on out the glory that was this game. What a turnaround. Root, just like that, in a matter of like 10 minutes. Huge turnaround. Alright, I'll be right back in a second. I gotta settle down. Maybe drink a little bit more coffee. See you guys in a second here with game 3.